The president touting by tweet a private meeting with inner city pastors today after his public attacks on the city of Baltimore, calling it a disgusting rat and rodent infested mess and blasting the congressman who represents part of the city, Elijah Cummings. One attendee was asked whether he thinks the president's racist.
I find it hard to believe when you consider the things that have been done for the black community.
You believe today was an attempt at damage control by President Trump?
No, I don't.
Congressman Cummings, in a moment that apparently caught the president's attention, recently slammed the acting Homeland Security Secretary over conditions at the border.
What does that mean when a child is sitting in their own feces? Can't take a shower? Come on, man.
Now, in a series of at least 20 tweets, the president's attacking not just the African-American lawmaker and the majority African-American city, but the African-American civil rights activist Al Sharpton, who criticized the president's remarks, describing Sharpton as a con man and troublemaker.
Well, yeah, I am a troublemaker. I intend to make trouble every time racists and bigots move around in any way, shape, or form, including the president.
The president's defenders insist he's not racially motivated, but fighting back against a congressional antagonist. On the campaign trail, then candidate Trump looked for support from urban communities of color, promising to help.
What the hell do you have to lose?
But today, some in Baltimore suggest he hasn't stepped up. NBC's Rahema Ellis is there.
What do you think about the president's tweet?
The president's tweet? I think it was idiotic. I think it was hurtful. I think it was bigoted.
I think he is a racist. Not only his tweet, but I think he has some issues as it relates to diversity.
And Hallie joins us now. Hallie, there had to be a lot of emotion today on another matter as the president signed that 9/11 first responders bill. This was the end of a very hard-fought and emotional battle.
You're right, Lester, and it means those first responders will never have to ask for money again for the Victims' Compensation Fund. It'll now be paid for permanently. The Senate passed the bill last week, nearly unanimously, you remember, after comedian Jon Stewart excoriated lawmakers for not doing this sooner.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.